When a company drops its quarterly numbers, it's pretty easy to just skim the headlines. But every once in a while, an earnings report tells a way bigger story. Today, we're diving into Welltower because what they've just shared is really the climax of a decade of radical, fundamental change.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're not just looking at a few months of performance here. Nope. What we're unpacking is a deliberate 10-year journey that has totally reshaped what this company is and what it's trying to do. And to really get where they're going, you first have to see the results of where they've been.
And those results, they are absolutely staggering. Let's start right at the top line. A 41.3% year-over-year revenue growth. I mean, seriously, in any industry, that is just a massive, massive number.
And to put that percentage into real dollars and cents, we're talking about actual revenue of $3.18 billion for the fourth quarter of 2025 alone. So yeah, they didn't just grow, they completely blew past expectations.
But honestly, this is the number that really shows you the engine is humming. A 28.3% year-over-year growth in what's called normalized funds from operations per share. Now, that's not just revenue. That's a super important measure of cash flow for a real estate company. It proves their model isn't just big, it's incredibly efficient.
So how on earth did they pull this off? Well, it all boils down to a fundamental shift in their identity. They made a conscious choice to stop being one thing and become something else entirely.
And the CEO, Shank Mitra, just lays it out perfectly here. They moved away from just buying and selling buildings, the classic deal shop model, and instead got intensely focused on the day-to-day operations and the technology that makes those buildings actually work for the people living in them. It's a huge change in philosophy.
Look, talk is cheap, right? But action, that's another story. Welltower put their money where their mouth was with one of the most decisive strategic moves you'll ever see. They called it the Great Capital Rotation.
I mean, the sheer scale of this move is just wow. Think about this. They sold off $7.2 billion of their outpatient medical properties, and then they didn't just reinvest that capital, they added to it, making a net investment of $11 billion into senior housing. They went all in on this new vision. No half measures here.
And listen, this isn't just about shuffling money around. It's about creating real value where others might not see it. Take their Integra portfolio. They bought it, steered it through the incredibly tough pandemic years, and instead of just cutting their losses, they rolled up their sleeves, pumped more capital into it, and pulled off a masterful turnaround.
And the result of all that hard work? An unlevered internal rate of return of 25%. Now that is an incredible return on a big, complicated real estate deal, especially when you consider their public peers were getting maybe 10–11% over that same time.
And it gets even better. They hit a 3.1 times unlevered money multiple. Put it this way, for every single dollar they put in, they got more than $3 back out. This wasn't just a deal, it was a masterclass in creating value.
So what's the secret sauce here? What's really driving these incredible returns and this intense focus on operations? Welltower has this simple but really powerful analogy for it. Hardware plus software. It really boils down to two things. The hardware is exactly what you'd think, the amazing, best-in-class buildings they've put together. But the software, that's their secret weapon. It's their own tech platform, the Welltower Business System, or WBS, and their network of absolute top-tier operators that they partner with. It's like the intelligence layer that sits on top of all the brick and mortar. So you might be asking, why go through all this trouble? Why tackle such a tough industry? The CEO says it best. They chose senior housing because it's hard. They're basically building a competitive moat by solving problems that other companies just can't or won't touch. They've built the tools to thrive where it's most challenging.
And you can see the hardware part of the equation paying off right here. These aren't just lines on a spreadsheet. They are top-quality communities that produce real, tangible results, which drives the incredible financial performance we saw just a minute ago.
And this is the software. This is the brain behind the whole operation. You've got the WBS platform that modernizes everything. You've got a super smart data science platform that tells them what to buy. And they've even built a tech squad of heavy hitters, including a new CTO, to push this digital transformation even further.
Okay, so you've got the hardware, you've got the software, but does this whole model actually work? Well, the numbers don't just talk, they shout. Let's look at the proof, right from the core of their new strategy, the senior housing operating portfolio.
I mean, just look at this. It's a triple threat of amazing performance. Net operating income grew over 20%. Occupancy jumped up by 400 basis points. That's a huge gain. And their operating margins got bigger by 270 basis points. So they're making more money, filling up their buildings, and doing it all more profitably. That's the dream.
And get this, this wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a lucky quarter. This was their 13th consecutive quarter of same-store NOI growth over 20%. That kind of consistent, high-level performance is almost unheard of. It just shows you how powerful and durable their model is.
So after a run like that, you gotta ask, can they keep this train rolling? Well, if you look at Welltower's own guidance for 2026, it sounds like the momentum is far from over.
Well, this table tells the story. Just look at that top line. They are projecting another 15 to 21% growth in their core senior housing segment. That continued strength is said to drive their total portfolio growth to over 11%. So they're basically signaling that this engine has plenty of fuel left in the tank.
And they are not, I repeat, not resting on their laurels. They've already started talking about the next phase, Welltower 3.0. And this isn't just about tweaking the current model. It's about completely reimagining the entire customer journey using technology. They're already playing chess while others are playing checkers.
And this final quote from the CEO, it just perfectly sums up who they are now. An operating company in a real estate wrapper. They get it. Their mission is so much bigger than just managing buildings. They're in the business of caring for people, and the stakes could not be higher. So it all comes down to this one really fascinating question. Welltower has completely rebuilt itself into a tech and operations beast to go after one of society's biggest challenges. They've definitely proven they can make incredible financial returns. But the bigger question is, can a company like this actually solve the deep human challenges of senior living? It seems like their answer is a very confident yes.